I didn't like that scene. Oh my god, I did not enjoy that. Which I thought was pretty cool. They are like stormtroopers, if I gotta be honest. It is ugh. But the elves are just not elves. Sorry, my stomach is turning. This was amazing. They are not going to be loved. So they do read the books. Yeah. Hello and welcome to another episode breakdown of Rings of Power, and today we're going to take a look at episode 7 and the Siege of Eregion. Unlike the other videos where I have taken a look at each different story arc, we're going to go chronologically through the episode. And don't forget, while you're at it, to write your thoughts on episode 7 of Rings of Power. So it all started with Celebrimbor sipping some tea in the quiet and peaceful realm of Eregion, not at all under attack. He is apparently still under the illusion of Sauron and continues to work on the Rings of Power. During the creation, he notices some odd couple things, kind of a glitch in the Matrix. He notices his real face when he looks into the mirror, and that some gems are missing from Feanor's hammer, and he sees a walking mouse, but more on that later. He tells Anatar everything, that he is so happy with the peace and all and with the quietness, without knowing that there is actually a siege going on. He finds it odd that he sees the same things reoccur every time. So he puts a mark on the candle so he can see if the time actually passes, because he finds out that he didn't put on the fire, he didn't relit any candles. A lot of the same things are happening, so he puts a mark on the candle to see if his thoughts are actually right or if he is going mad. So Anatar comes out and tells everybody that Celebrimbor wants everybody to retreat, but he says no. I'm going to take over the city. I am now the Lord of Eregion. And he sees that the catapults are relocated to the mountains, and the falling rocks from the mountains dry up the river. I always wondered how they are going to dry up the river. I think this seems the most logical solution. Then we go over to a scene between Narvi and Durin III. Narvi tells Durin that there is an attack going on the region and that we should send reinforcements. But Durin III says no, we have to keep on digging for Mithril, digging deeper and deeper. And you know what that means? Narvi eventually sees that Durin III is actually going mad and completely corrupted by the ring, and he wants to help Durin and Disa. After Narvi has said, I'm going to help you, Elrond visits Durin and wanted to talk to him and tell him that they're going to need the dwarves to help defend Eregion, otherwise they cannot win this war. So the river is finally dry, and the orcs are going to attack, and the elves shoot back. I didn't like that scene. Oh my god, I did not enjoy that. First of all, the orcs are good. The orcs are cool. They look great. But the elves are just not elves, if you understand what I mean. If we go back and look at the siege in Helm's Deep in the Two Tower movie of Peter Jackson, we see the elves, okay, they were not meant to be there. We see these elves of Lorien and they are standing in great formation, all grabbing their bows and arrows at the same time. And the moment they call the elves to lose their arrows, they shoot. They are so streamlined. If we go back to the Battle of the Last Alliance, where Elrond is commanding the elves, in the Fellowship of the Ring movie, they are all so aligned with each other. And here it just looks like there are just a couple of guys standing on the wall shooting arrows. Once again, not many people to defend Eregion. Why aren't there more archers defending the city? It's just like 12, 20 people there standing on the wall. It doesn't seem right. And then the elf behind him says, loose arrow, but they are already shooting. Not at all aligned with each other. I mean, they don't really look like elves. If you look at the Rondir, I really enjoy Rondir, but sometimes he can feel a bit over the top elf, too many Legolas moments. But I think that is just because the other elves don't seem as heroic or as elvish as a Rondir, which means that he would stand out more than the other elves. So I found it a bit distracting, and also they have missed so much orcs. I cannot believe it. They are shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting. They are like stormtroopers, if I gotta be honest. Next up, we're going to go back to Celebrimbor, and he notices the same mouse over and over again doing the same things after a certain amount of time. He goes and talks to Anatar and tells him of everything that he has been seeing, even the candle trick, that the candle hasn't gone any lower, that the mark is still there from a couple of hours ago. And finally, he sees that Anatar is actually Sauron and that there is this attack going on Region. And he goes out as quickly as possible, wanted to tell Midania that Anatar is actually Sauron, that he has all of us deceived. She thinks he's going mad, and I think that's an honest reaction from someone. If someone's going to talk to, yeah, he is actually the devil, we are all deceived. But then he grabs Midania, wants to talk about it, but Anatar twists his hand and Celebrimbor pushes her off the wall. I had a double feeling about this. I don't think that Sauron can actually do that. I know he can deceive people, that is his greatest trick. To actually control people like that, I think it's a bit too far-fetched. I think he would be too strong if he do this with everyone. But the reason I found it okay is because in the story I didn't really mind it happening. But also because it was Midania, because through the episodes that we see with Anatar, we see a kind of a love interest. It feels that way when you watch the episodes between Midania and Anatar, and then with just no thought, he just kills her, which I thought was pretty cool, just showing that for Sauron, everybody is just a tool, a way to get to his goal, and nothing more, nothing less. Then we have charge from Lindon to help and aid Region, and they're going to attack the orcs, but they eventually noticed that Galadriel was captured, so Elrond goes and talks to Adar. I found it a little weird that it was Elrond and not Gil-galad, because he was also there, that he would talk to Adar, but okay, it's just nitpicking at that moment. But yeah, we're going to go to the worst thing from this episode, I know. Oh. Sorry, my stomach is turning. So Adar wants to have Nenya, wants to have Galadriel's ring of power, but Elrond doesn't want to give it. Adar says, if I can have the ring, you can have Galadriel back. But he doesn't want to. Then he goes to her, gives her his broom in secret, and kisses her. I know for everyone who has no idea what I'm talking about, who has never read the books, only saw the movies, might think, okay, kind of cute. But no. No, you are mistakenly wrong. It is, it is his future mother-in-law that he is kissing. Oh my god. I saw this happening. It's like, how can we make the fans of the books hate the show even more? Even if it was just to give the needle secretly to her. Just hug her or something. But don't kiss her. Come on, man. Why? Let me know in the comment section what you think of the Elrond and Galadriel love story emerging. Then we return to Durin. Durin IV rallies up the dwarves, gives a great speech. I thought it was really amazing. The only thing that confused me a little bit, he was again talking first of all to like 20-30 dwarves. But most of them were women and were older dwarves. But we know from the books that the dwarf women don't go to war. I found it a bit weird that he was talking to all these women and all these old people. They were younger dwarves as well, but a lot of old dwarves too. And I found it a bit weird. But then he turned around and we saw this epic scene of Khazad-dûm and all these dwarves chanting, Baruch Khazad, Baruch Khazad. And I was full of joy. This was amazing. All these dwarves, hundreds of dwarves. Why can't they do this more? Like I told in the previous episodes with Numenor, Region. There are always like a couple of people there, a couple of elves. Why not more? Here you can see they did it. Hell yeah, Baruch Khazad. Next up we see the elves from Lindon attack the orcs. One fun moment I want to talk about is after the orc killed Elrond's horse, he just put him on a catapult and slung him away, which I thought was really funny. Then we go over to the knight, and there is a discussion going on between this orc captain, is Grook, a slug. Yeah, I can't remember his name. But he talks about to Adar, I thought you love us. And Adar says to him, well, yes, that is why I wanted to do this, why I wanted to attack Eregion and kill Sauron, because I don't want you to become his slaves. I know, like previous episodes, people have rambled on about them having families and kids. They procreate like the children of Ilúvatar, like the elves and men. So, okay, they have kids, they have a family. Okay, but does this have to be so much emotional, so much love for these characters? They are going to be the bad guys anyway. In every season, even after Adar, if Sauron actually convinces the orcs to work for him, they are not going to be loved. Don't bother putting the time in it. That is not why we're here, to have some orc love. Galadriel tries to escape, have some kind of a hood on, so she won't be recognizable. But then again, her beautiful blonde hair was sticking out, so yeah, she got noticed. But luckily the orcs that noticed her got shot by Arondir, and then she escaped together with Arondir. Then we go back to Khazad-dûm, and Durin IV is getting his troops ready to go and help Eregion and be there at the sunrise in the east. But Durin III is completely going mad because of the corruption of the ring, and even kills his own dwarves. And Narvi was sent by Disa that Durin must call off the attack, because if he goes on with the attack, then there won't be any Khazad-dûm coming back, because they are going to awake the beast if they dig any further, which that they mean the Balrog. And this once again, like I have mentioned with I think it's 2 episodes ago when the dwarves got their rings, it is going too fast and too heavy. The greediness, the corruption. The dwarves are not corrupted by rings, they become more greedy because they can get more gold with the rings. It is going too fast. You gotta know that this ring has to go from father to son all the way until Thrain loses it in Dol Guldur near the end of the Third Age. How is it ever going to pass to Durin IV and then to his children? If Durin III is so corrupted by it, it has to be more subtle. Otherwise, I can't find any reason why Durin IV would even accept the ring from his father. The only logical thing I see Durin IV do after his father dies is just throw the ring away or just hide it somewhere safe that no one can get to it. Then we go back to Celebrimbor and Anatar, because Celebrimbor is finishing the 9 rings as Sauron has promised. If he would do this, then he would save Eregion. And he talks about Morgoth, how they have both different visions. Morgoth wants to destroy everything, while Sauron wants to dominate and control it. So they do read the books. They have done so much that you would think that they have never read the books. Things like this makes you believe that they have. Is it just like they have just read some parts of the books? Or what? I don't know. So after Anatar leaves and the ring are completed, Celebrimbor throws them in the fire. But they are quite cool. If Gandalf would say it about one ring, which again is another reference to the Lord of the Rings. And then, you know that I have talked about the elves, that they miss a lot of arrows? Well, here we are at night. They throw these gunpowder bags in the air, and then the other elf shoots it, and they never miss. I was like, okay, so at day, you miss. At night, you shoot good. Yeah. So we go back to Celebrimbor, and Celebrimbor decides, because he needs to get this handcuff off his hand, to cut off his thumb. I thought, okay, he's going to dislocate his thumb, because you see most of the people do that in movies or series, but he cut off his thumb. Okay, this works as well. A little more dramatic. I can imagine if you are in this moment like Celebrimbor, that you just want to get out no matter the cost, and I think it's just the first thing that he thought of. Then he meets Galadriel in the courtyard, and Galadriel tells him that indeed actually Anatar is Sauron, or that Halbrand in this case is Sauron, so the elves actually believe Celebrimbor. And Celebrimbor gives Galadriel the 9 rings, and Galadriel runs away as quickly as possible with the rings so Sauron cannot get him. And then we see Rian, the Asian elf, if you don't know who I'm talking about. She needed to shoot like the battering, well, it's not really a battering ram, it's more like a pulling ram or something. I don't know the exact name, but she needs to shoot it because she can. and she got shot like with 3 arrows in her chest, but she is still able to shoot the arrow. It's a little bit of a remembering to Boromir, but I found it a bit overpowered considering the other elves that we have seen during this episode. But then he comes, Damrod, the troll that they have anticipated for. This great mountain troll that they have made their own song, which J.R.R, if you're ever watching, is amazing. I think you did a great job with the song. Something completely different. I love the metal vibe that you gave him. I did enjoy the moment though that Damrod is using these orcs as an orcish shield against these elves, which I thought was really fun and really cool. But I found Damrod itself a little bit of an anticlimactic moment. I thought he is going to smash the wall, break the wall, that he would give the elves a very hard time to destroy. But it was over sooner than I thought. The moment that Damrod died, I was like, oh, was that it? I have expected more from Damrod, which is just my honest opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think. Then we go back to Anatar, who is going to be captured by these guards of Celebrimbor, but he turns the guards on each other and they kill each other, which once again I thought was really cool that Anatar could do that. Then the morning, Elrond believes that Durin is going to come, but Durin doesn't come. So Elrond is out of battle modus. He's like, oh no, Durin didn't come. Durin will come. Come on, Durin will come. He is in disbelief. What I was waiting for, and I do believe that we haven't seen enough from this episode, is Gil-galad and his spear. Eyeglass. The battle scenes that Gil-galad was doing was really cool. I don't really like his armor though. I think it doesn't really fit him. Not that it doesn't look good, but I just think it doesn't really fit the actor in my personal opinion. But his way with the spear, amazing. I just wish that I have seen more of this in this episode. Then the Rondir goes to attack these orcs and eventually faces off with Adar. And there Adar kills him, probably. He does look like he died. I'm not quite sure if he is actually going to die or not, because we haven't seen him actually die, if you know what I mean. So we'll have to wait for this to the next episode, till next week, to know what really happened to Rondir. And then Adar takes the ring from Elrond. And that's it. Yes, that's the end of episode 7. Only one more episode to go. So don't forget to let me know in the comment section what you think of this episode. And while you're at it, consider subscribing so you don't miss out on the last breakdown episode of Rings of Power Season 2. And we have much more lore content coming up in a couple of days. If you're watching this right now, there will be a brand new video of the War of the Dwarves and Orcs. So subscribe to the Table of Durin so you don't miss any out. If for some reason missed my previous breakdown of episode 6, then this is the video you need to click on right now. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.